Welcome to Slasher Sunday. Let's take a journey all the way over to Japan. What do you think?
Let's go.
You're going to say that in English?
What? Oh, ikimashou.
There we go. Got this Japanese speaking lady next to me. You're going to really talk to me.
So long.
Well, now's the time. I want this whole review to be done in Japanese by you.
No.
No?
No.
Or is that in Japanese?
Yeah.
All right. Black Rat. You ever heard of it? Neither have we.
Never.
So this is another one of Dave's recommendations from his slasher-thon from Exploding Heads horror movie podcasts. Top 50 non-franchise slashers. This is, I think, an honorable mention kind of thing. All right. Unfortunately, I'm not in agreement with him on this one. I don't like this one much. I can see why someone might dig it, but it kind of lacks all of the things I love in a slasher, right? There's like, we talk about that list of things that I feel like are essential to a slasher, and you have to have at least one, or you have to have at least like one or two of the five. I think I've extended it to five. It used to be three, but I think I brought it up to five now. And if you can have at least two of the five and they're really good, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But this really has kind of none of them for me. Maybe one thing. We'll get into it. So, for those of you who don't know what this is about, this is on Tubi, of course. What isn't? Actually, lots of fucking things. Because we always are trying to find things and nobody has them. But Tubi, whatever is out there, Tubi seems to have it.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty typical standard slasher setup, right? There is a kid who kills themselves, and then the classmates slash friends of the person who committed suicide, they are given a text from that dead person's phone that says to meet them at their school at midnight. They all conveniently do so, because what the fuck's the killer gonna do if they don't show up? Nothing, I guess. But they all conveniently show up, and of course they're confronted with the past, and the killer wants revenge for this person's death. Very, very, very typical setup. We've seen this, especially at schools, right? This is a very, very common place. I think because a lot of people were bullied in high school, this is kind of the go-to revenge tale.
Yeah.
Especially like horror nerds who grew up, going to school and getting bullied. This is kind of their ultimate fantasy, is getting back at all the shitty people. So you always have the archetypes of people who are typically the shitty people in school, which are like the jocks and the cheerleaders and whatever. So we once again, of course, have our archetypes. You've got like the cool guy, and you've got the ditzy girl, and you've got the nerd, and you've got the smart girl who wears glasses to prove she's smart, and just kind of that dumb shit that you always see in these kinds of movies. And we get the cold open, which, spoilers, of course, the cold open ends up being a kind of a twist, because we think the cold open is the killer coming after a victim. A victim,
yeah.
And it is actually the killer running away from the victim after the victim finds out who the killer is, or one of the killers is, and is chasing him with their mask on. So that's kind of a cool reveal for later, to find out that this is one of the killers being chased in the opening. So I don't really have an issue with that. I think that's one of the cooler things. And going back to one of the 5 things that a slasher needs, the look of the killer. I like the mask. I don't really honestly know what the fuck is going on with the mask.
I thought it was taking pictures for a while.
But I think it's just blinking.
But yeah, I think it's just kind of like an animatronic mask, which is pretty impressive to make. Yeah, I like the look of the mask too. Kind of gives like a furry, but I'm still into it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I mean, I also didn't really like this movie that much at all. I think that it's a pretty, like, I think there's a lot of elements that don't work. And one of the big things is that the killers are both very wimpy. And it's just very unbelievable. But, this is one of those things, too, where it's like, with Japanese culture, would they not, like, attack? But it just seems very unbelievable that, like, you're gonna... Especially when they have one character, at least, who is, like, supposed to be this tough guy.
Yeah. And
he does end up attacking in the end. But I feel like she and Kango, the other guy that ends up, like, helping, are both very, very...
meek villains.
Yeah. They're very unintimidating to
100%.
me. 100%. And I know that these are also supposed to be high school kids, too. So I was also trying to be like, okay, like, they're high school kids, and, like, they're already, like, not that strong because of that and whatever. But at the same time, there's also strength in numbers, but then I'm also thinking, like, well, they also think that this is, like, a ghost. So that's part of it, too, where they're, like, they think it's supernatural. Like, they don't really realize that it's an actual person until, a bunch of them are already dead. But I just felt from, like, the slasher point of view, like, it didn't work in that sense for me.
Well, it has no kills.
Yeah.
People do die, but there is no graphic death on screen, and even the deaths we get, the implications of the deaths aren't even gruesome or brutal. They're really just kind of blah and bland, and even if they were to be shown on screen, which they aren't, they wouldn't be violent or brutal even so. So the slasher element of that side of things within the kills, terrible. Right? The characters are all very blah and very one-dimensional archetypes for me. The story as it is doesn't really fully add up. Like, there's the girl who kills herself, she is, like, overly nice, and she's constantly smiling, and she gets a lot of shit for smiling, and she makes these really impressive masks for this dance that she wants them to do for some kind of, like, almost like a talent show sort of thing. And, the cool guy, the jock guy kind of guy, he's the one who is encouraging them to do it and is like, we'll do it. And then she pulls out the masks, which the mask is really impressive. It's not goofy at all. But they all seem to, of course, then be like, no, we're not doing it because of these masks. And so they kind of just treat her like shit. But I never and people can feel how they feel, and people could be drawn or, like, pushed to the brink of suicide from almost nothing. I mean, I guess I can't really tell you how believable the line is for where someone is going to be taken to the point of killing themselves. But I don't know. It's so nothing in this movie. They're just kind of shit. Like, they're just kind of lame friends. They're not really aggressively... They don't do anything insane to her. I
kept thinking that there was going to be... to be fair, it's not her that's killing them. It's, like, the sister of Asuka.
Sure, but regardless, we just don't know why she would kill herself for what ends up happening.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
But you did point out, in the end... You have a theory
I do have a theory that her friend, who is... Whatever her name is. Yeah. But the main friend, I kind of feel like... Girl. Yeah, I feel like she might have pushed her. That was sort of the vibe that I was getting
because she had a thing for
Kango.
Yeah. Kangaroo.
Yeah, but like what you were saying, though, I think that the behavior, like, there's definitely, like, they're shitty friends, for sure. But it didn't feel like they were bullying her. I mean, the main thing that keeps coming up is, like, why are you smiling? Like, why do you smile all the time? It's creepy. Like, why are you smiling? Which is really funny because, like,
go get new friends.
This girl is super cute. Yeah. Her smile is not creepy at all. No. She seems like a totally normal, like, regular girl.
Yeah.
And they're just being so, like, down on her for being happy or for being, like, pleasant
which
or whatever.
Which is
believable for teenagers to be like, oh, like, you're so lame, like, why are you so, like, whatever.
Upbeat.
But it does feel like out of nowhere all of a sudden, then like she kills herself, which is why I think that it's possible that the final girl possibly did it, especially with like her smile at the end and everything, and it just felt very, like it sinister. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
with you.
Yeah,
I like
so
that interpretation.
I like that too, but yeah, the kills, like everything that kind of happens, are pretty lame. There's sort of this
no tension
setup for like these games where and that drops. Actually, we only get 2 of them. We don't really get to see multiple, which it is a short film. It's like an hour and like 17 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But like the one girl gets killed. Like she needs to get 100 points at karaoke or she dies. And then
did you guys know that in karaoke they have a rating system when you're done?
I didn't know that at all.
I've done karaoke 1,000 times.
I have not
but
done it
Japanese
that many
people love karaoke, and I guess their karaoke bars come with scores at the end. I mean, I played like Rock Band with my brother and his friends, where someone was on guitar, someone was on bass, someone was on drums, someone had singing, and you got scores at the end for each one of the different instruments. But I've never seen it in actual karaoke. So 100 is a perfect score? Like if you did the song, it like rates it how? Like how close you match the pitch?
I would assume that's what it has to be. Like how on like.
I mean, I don't know what she thought she was going to do when she didn't even sing half the song.
But yeah, like if you don't sing it, then I would assume. I don't know. Anyway, like I think that if that had been kept up for each one of them, like if like the kills had then been like brutal, that could have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the case, unfortunately, which is a shame, because the other Asian slasher that we watched wasn't Japanese; it was Korean.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a lot of. We didn't see like graphic kills, but the setups for the kills and like the aftermath and like kind of the implications of things were very brutal, and that was like really like messed up and satisfying to see. Whereas with this, it was just kind of like, okay, it just didn't have that same impact at all.
For those wondering, she's referring to Bloody Reunion.
Yes, which we recovered on a Slasher Sunday several weeks ago. So,
no, I think it was
a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks ago. Felt longer.
No, it's definitely no more than 2 weeks. I don't know what we did last week, or if it was that, but might have been last week.
No.
No? What was last week?
Last week was the really sleazy one.
Oh, yeah. Out of the Dark.
Yeah, Out of the Dark. Which
Out of the Dark. But Bloody Reunion was the week before that.
Okay.
So it was only 2 weeks.
Yeah, so just for like a comparison, I guess.
I think we recorded it before we went on vacation, though, because we recorded it really early.
Okay.
So it was almost 3 weeks ago.
I see.
When we recorded
that would make sense then.
Yeah, because we're recording this on Friday.
Yeah.
Right before.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. Getting back to that scene where she comes in the classroom and she's like giving them the breakdown and the lecture and the promise of their demise in a minute here. I don't know what her plan was, if they just retaliated on her in that moment. I guess she was just,
banking on the fact that they're scared and
going
to.
We get that, number one, we have the tough guy who's like willing to fight and does. He beats one of them to death. Like, he's not just going to sit there and take it. He's not the kind of guy who lies down. And then we find out that the ditzy girl knows fucking kung fu. She's fighting like she's in a Matrix movie towards the end of the movie.
Pretty intense fighting at
so
the
it's
end.
Like, I don't feel like she hid that fact. Like, I don't think that she trained in secret.
Yeah.
I feel like she's someone they would know she can fight. So the fact that he is like a tough guy and they had to like put a bomb on his bike because they had a feeling he probably was going to get away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't buy that scene. And
Yeah,
who cares? I mean, you can just roll with the movie and say, okay, like, it's just conveniences for plot's sake. And I'm fine with that. But once again, when you're not liking a movie, you start to pick apart everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that you can definitely have an underpowered, like, villain and a slasher as well. Like, we've seen it done before. It just means that you need to compensate for it in other ways. So it's like, if there were these traps set up, or, you know, one of the other things that I was, like, very confused about was this all takes place in the school after dark.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why they couldn't leave. Like, I was guessing that
the doors are
doors
locked.
and stuff are locked, but...
We see when Kengo tries to go out, they're chained.
But it's like the windows are definitely not, like, shatterproof windows, and, like, there's
this is
I just mean that there's
horror stuff,
yeah,
right?
I just think that there was, like, some, you know, like, you want things to be believable enough. And I think in that situation, like,
logical
if the characters are going to run, they want to get out of the building. The doors are locked. What would be the next thing they would do? They would go for the windows. They would try and break a window. Like,
they
there would
just
be
hide
other
in the classroom.
things. Yeah. And so I think all of that, you know, makes it, like, lamer, you know, because it is just, like, hard to buy into it.
It's hard to believe that the tough guy is gonna go hide when then later he just fights back so aggressively,
right,
and chases after him.
Well, they spend like a good amount of time making a weapon too, and
it's not like she comes into the room and looks intimidating. She's clearly a girl, and then the Kengo, he has a very like feminine frame,
thin and very,
he wears like a bra and everything to look like he's the same killer.
Yeah.
Who's helping her, but at no time does two killers really benefit this.
No,
right? It's not like in Scream where there's a reason why there's two killers. She needs help, right? But for them to be tricked into thinking she's the same, I guess maybe psychological warfare, where it's like you run down here and there's one, and then if you did encounter that, you'd be like, there's two.
Well, no, I mean, like, I think they're trying to be like,
they're trying to trick us,
ghosts,
the audience.
Like, it could be everywhere at once.
Yeah, okay,
I was thinking that it was her friend because of the timing. Like, she shows up late to everything. Right. So I was like, oh, it's going to be her, and she's, like, remembering what she did or something. Because I also wasn't a big fan. Hold on. There's, like, a few things that I want to say, and I don't want to, like, forget it.
No, go for it.
Crap. There was something before this, though. Whatever. For now, I was not a fan of the way that they did the flashbacks. I felt like it was, like, kind of just sloppy, jarring feeling, where it was, like, right before somebody was gonna die, they would, like, flash back. And, like, I get the intention is to show, like, here's how they treated her and whatever. And as we already said, it was, like, you saw that they were kind of shitty, but, like, not, like... I mean, we've seen so much worse in real life and in film of people being, you know, bullies and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then what I was going to say was another thing that could have fixed this, but this is, like, maybe not something that could have been done, especially because of Japan. But it's like, if you are going to have, like, a little small person be, like, intimidating, then you give them a gun. Like, if she had a gun, then I would totally understand why they weren't attacking her. Because then it's like, it doesn't matter her size. Like, she can kill you immediately. But she has, like, a knife. Or she has, like, an axe. Or she has, you know, like, weapons that are close range. Like, you need to be able... Like, can you use them and be, like, small? Of course. If she was, like, trained and whatever. Yeah. But it's just, like, again, like, the believability. Like, she's not supposed to be... Like, even if she spent the last... Because this is only, like, 42 days after. That's the other thing. This hasn't been, like... 2 years or something where, like, every day she's been practicing and, like, setting up traps and setting up the location. Like, it's literally been, like, a little over a month.
The way that you address this and the way you make this work is, because it's in Japan, this would make it very simple. You give her, like, a katana. You give her, like, a sword, right? And you show that she is deadly with it. Yeah. Right? So, like, when she... Because in that scene, in reality, what would probably happen, especially with, like, the tough guy, you add another tough guy, or just have this tough guy do his thing, right? Where he's like, this is bullshit, fuck you, we're not doing this, you're weak, whatever, like, you know, you're gonna try to threaten us, and he walks over and she, like, just immediately, like, pulls her sword out and cuts off his hand or something. Yeah. And then it just shows, like, oh my god, not only is this real... and that something's happening, but that this person is formidable, even though their size doesn't seem intimidating. Their skill with this weapon, whatever it may be, I just said katana because it's Japanese, but you know, it could be fill in the blank with whatever. I just think that would have immediately gotten rid of that issue, is to show her have some extraordinary skill with a weapon and to take it out on the biggest opposing threat to her instantly. To where everyone's like, oh my god, if she can take him down with that kind of ease with this weapon, what chance do I stand? And then they scatter, and each one of them is off in different parts of the school trying to get out, and then they keep running into her wherever they go, and then it's revealed that there's multiple versions of her throughout, and she could have like influenced a couple people to come along with her, and it's all, you know, different people, but they all think it's the same person. So I think with some tweaks and some readjustments of the thought of how to make this work realistically, but as it sits, I just never bought into anything happening in the film.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was very checked out for a lot of it, just kind of like not connecting with the characters, not really connecting with the dead girl, and you know, the this feeling of revenge or anything. Like, I just felt very like blah on it all. I also didn't really like any of the characters. I think they tried to go for the, you know, the archetypes and like make them very stereotypical, but I just found them all very like lame and one-dimensional and stuff, and just didn't care about them like at all. Didn't even really care about the main girl either, who was maybe the one that you're supposed to connect with the most, I guess. Just it was kind of a just lame film for me. Didn't like it. Also thought it was really funny that the guy, the like jockey, like bad guy, blew up at the end. That was really funny.
Yeah, Kayla thought that was very funny. She rarely laughs out loud with things, but that got her pretty good.
Because I thought it was going to happen. I, like, didn't say it out loud, but he was, like, walking over to go on his moped, like, left the building. I was like, it'll be so funny when he just, like, sits on it and it explodes. And sure enough, that is literally what happens.
Yeah, it feels like it's from a different film.
Totally different film.
Like an action.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if she's, like, setting up traps, there should have been so much more of that. And then I would have been like, okay, like, she's, like, thought of everything. Like, she's rigged the cars. How she did that, I don't know. I mean, I guess she ran, like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It could have been Kango or something. But if everything had been thought out, like, the doors are all locked and, like, the windows have, like, I don't know, like, they get electrocuted when they touch the windows or, you know, whatever.
It'd be pretty elaborate.
It would be elaborate, but I would be like, this makes sense because this is all about vengeance and, like, she wants them to suffer and she wants to, like, hunt them down, like, one by one and doesn't want them to leave or whatever.
One by one.
One by one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I would have definitely liked for them to have stuck to the games, right?
Yes.
You have the kid has to stop the soccer shot, and you have the girl who has to score 100 on the karaoke machine, and then from there we don't get any other things. I don't know if she had anything else planned for anyone else, or if she just had those two things planned and nothing else regardless. I don't know. But yeah, I think if they could have stuck to that, if they could have had some brutal kills, of course, that would have amplified things for sure, and for the flashbacks to hit harder, for us to, as the audience, be like, you know what, fuck these people, good, let's kill them.
Definitely.
Like, as more gets revealed, you think like you're on this person's side until this thing's revealed, and you're like, oh shit, never mind. They do gotta go, that's strong enough. Or, you know, you do the opposite thing where it looks bad from one perspective, but then you show it, you see how it really went down, and how the person who was hurt by it saw it, but how it really was, you know, kind of like in the opening of Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis, when she thinks she's just doing like a basic prank, and then she finds out like they put a dead body in the bed with him, and when he comes out and freaks out, she's like, what the fuck? It kind of does take away from it the fact that she's still dating that guy and hanging out with them as friends a year or two later. So that kind of, I don't know, that takes a bit away from her, you know, argument. Like, oh, they're assholes. Like, then why are you still fucking dating and hanging out with them?
Right.
Yeah, so that takes a little credibility away from her as a character in that movie. But regardless, like I think, yeah, you've got to work on the writing with movies like this when you're not going to offer kills, when you're not going to have like hot naked babes, when you're not going to have these like kind of more exploitive, easy,
the like junk food
lowbrow.
of the then you need to have a really good writing,
correct,
which we talk about,
or really strong characters,
yes,
or
this is always the case where it's like that stuff is free. Like you can write a great story and great characters without having a big budget and make it work. And this is just it's. I don't really have a lot else to say. Like I know we normally go on, but like
my notes are
it's such
basic.
a short film, and it's not one that we really recommend either. This is one that I'm like, somebody should remake this.
It's so hollow.
Yeah, like this would
remake
be,
it.
But like that's what I'm saying.
There's
like if you remade it and changed all those things,
there's 450,000 films just like this. It's been
true.
remade.
Yeah.
This is a remake of a remake of a remake. This is the most basic concept for a slasher. This is the most overdone slasher trope story of all time. The kid who's getting revenge on the bullies has them come to the school and takes them down one by one for what they did to them in the past.
Yeah, you know what we should do for Slasher Sunday? We should review Harper's Island.
I already reviewed Harper's Island.
Whatever, you didn't review it with
episode
me.
by. You want to do it one by one.
I want to do one by one.
In the intro for Harper's Island, this kid says one by one. In case you're wondering why the hell we keep saying that.
We just watched it, and I'm rewatching it now.
Yeah, Kaylee's obsessed with it. Because it's like Scream, but longer.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really into it.
But yeah, anyway, we typically do these longer ones, and but when there's no meat on the bone,
I know. What do you want from us?
My notes are so basic; they take up a fourth of a page.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just, and all of it's just kind of tropes. It's like cold open, and cool guy, ditzy girl, nerd, smart girl.
Yeah.
Like it's all just kind of like, just box checking for all the tropes of horror slashers.
Sorry guys, this Slasher Sunday is
it's a lame movie with a lame review because
one.
There's nothing really to discuss. Yeah. There's nothing to really poke fun at to have a good time discussing it.
It's not like
it's not an entertaining. It's not like,
oh, it's so bad. It's like because the out of the dark
we talked about for like an hour because
there was
so
much.
Many
it was so
hilarious,
entertaining,
ridiculous scenes.
Right.
With this, there's nothing.
This was just like.
The mask is cool. I don't know what the hell the clicking with the eye is. I don't know if that's it blinking.
It's blinking.
Because there's no reveal of a camera or anything.
That's
so
what
it's
I
just
thought.
blinking.
And that would have been kind of cool too. Is like, oh, like she's like taking pictures of
their
deaths.
death. Yeah.
And stuff like that's creepy.
No.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very funny to me how in a lot of like Asian horror, this isn't always the case because there's tons of Asian horror that we watch that's like extremely graphic, but sometimes, maybe more often in a lot of the Japanese ones, they're really big on blood. They're like, let's just put a bunch of blood on everything, and then it'll be like really intense, and that always kind of makes me laugh because I'm like there's one like Kengo, like I don't really understand how he's like
I don't know why
he's like completely
so
covered in blood, and I was trying to understand
he gets a little head wound
how that happened,
and then for some reason he's running through the halls and he has blood like there's different streams of blood on his arms and his legs from a head wound.
It was really weird.
Can someone explain to me how that's possible?
It was funny.
That makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
Like if he was just gushing blood from the head, because head wounds bleed a lot, sure, but it'd be coming straight down in a line, and then maybe if he got it on his hands, it'd be smudged everywhere. But there's direct lines of blood from someone clearly pouring blood down different areas of the body because there have to be different wounds pouring blood out. So his blood, Dexter would have a field day.
Dexter would have been like,
with the blood splatter in this movie. He'd be like, no, that is not how blood runs on someone's body. They don't really. Sometimes they do gore. But
there's definitely been gore that we've seen.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely movies, especially like when they go hard, they can go really hard, right?
Definitely.
Like Tokyo Gore Police and stuff.
Thinking.
Like they can go really insane. They either go way over the top crazy or they do nothing at all. Yeah. But even less than that, nudity.
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
huge rarity
You gotta watch
in Japanese culture. They're like
Evil Dead
even
trap.
their porn is fucking
censored.
censored. That's the weirdest shit
yeah,
ever.
I don't know what that is. I've actually never looked into that, but I've always,
They blur like the dick and the vagina, and they just go down,
there's
and it's blurry, and
some
it's like
kind of rule against it. I
who's
don't
jerking
know.
off to blurry porn?
Horny.
That'd be like jerking off to Bigfoot footage.
Like, there he is.
Wait, where is he? He's so hairy, I think.
I think.
All right. Sorry. Next week we'll try a better
We'll
one.
get a better one, hopefully.
Yeah.
Bye.
Blame Dave.